Parents for a long time were not aware of how little say they have within the education system. There are curriculum that are being developed and decisions are being made for families that they don't agree with. And so what has happened recently with COVID and ultimately virtual schooling is that many of the parents are for the first time confronting a system that has really been designed to exclude parent voices from these decisions. And that is very frustrating. If we really want to change outcomes for our kids, what we really need to do is change the system at the state level.
Oklahoma ranks 43rd in education, and I think largely that is because we don't have a lot of school choice.
Our school district changed, and it just became very obvious they were going to push whatever they wanted. They didn't care what we thought.
It's taking us away from this parent-centric view, and it's really placing a lot of the authority and the power within the public school system.
Education is not a one-size-fits-all. My youngest is in 5th grade, and she suffers from ADHD, so she often has a hard time learning the same way that her peers would.
If you want your child to be educated here, you have to follow these rules, whether or not you like it, whether or not you feel it's best for your child. These are how it's going to be, or you can't get an education.
I am concerned about books that they're reading, the types of prompts that the students are now having to respond to, the thematic material that she's being exposed to.
When this is brought up in school board meetings, it is met with hostility that parents would dare to question required reading and curriculum. We know what's best when it comes to education. You leave the education decisions to us.
When COVID started affecting the schools, 80% wanted to be in person for their kids. And our superintendent decided that she knew what was best and that everyone should go virtual. We normally are able to affect change and get the outcomes that we desire, but this was the first of many times that we realized that we really had no say in what was happening in our kids' education.
We have a lot of unwanted outcomes right now in education. In order to really be able to solve some of these problems, we need for parents to be the primary decision makers with regards to education for their children. They are the experts about their children's needs.
I want to send my youngest daughter where she could get more individualized learning and where the curriculum represented our family values. I'm a single mom, and right now I can't afford that.
We started with private schooling. Once all 3 kids got there, it became just too much of a financial burden. We couldn't do it anymore.
With these accounts, I would take her money that right now is being allocated to public schools and move her to a private school.
When money is an issue, that really limits options for a lot of people. And so having the tax dollars to spend freely, parents can pick that education format that's best for their kids.
The intent of the current law for the Henry Scholars is meant to serve children with special needs and children in foster care or that have been adopted through foster care. There are a lot of children in these categories that are still falling through the cracks.
If we had been in public school the year before, he would have actually been able to use the Lindsey Nicole Henry Scholarship. His situation didn't get noticed until he was already in private school.
In many ways, we need to take a very intentional look at this program and be able to start making some of those fixes that ensure that the original intent of this law is being filled.
So right now, the way that school boards are set up, there's really no accountability for school board members for listening to parents. So as far as school board reform, there are a few measures that we would like to see take place. We would love to see a school board recall option. Also, moving the school board elections from the spring to a general election time would allow more community members that would be selecting those board members.
Parents need that ability to be able to implement the solutions and the things that they already know are going to be the best for their children. And these kinds of reforms and ideas can really start to make these things possible.